Welcome back. We are now going to do portion costing. This is exercise 6-2 in chapter 6, and we're going to do questions 1, 2, and 3 in this particular video. So let's take a look at the recipe that we have. And remember, here we are more concerned with the cost per portion than the other things that we've already learned how to do. If we look at our instructions up here, they want us to round our answers to 3 decimal places, always important. This recipe is for angel cake. It makes 6 pans, 4 inches by 9.5 inches. The size of portions, well, we get 10 portions per pan. Really, the only thing that is important to us when we are portion costing is how many portions a recipe gives us. And in this example, as clearly indicated here, this recipe will give us 60 portions that we can sell to our customer. So then all we have to do is figure out the total cost of the recipe to then take one extra step to get the cost per portion. Well, to be able to do that, we need the extension price for each ingredient. So here's how much each ingredient is needed, or here's how much we need of each ingredient in our recipe, and here's our AP cost that we paid. So looking at our first example of egg whites, we need to have 4 pounds, and our unit cost, or our AP cost, was decimal 426 per pound. So our units desired matches the unit price. Let's take what we paid for 1 pound and multiply it by the amount of pounds our recipe calls for, and we can see that we need $1.704 worth of egg whites. We move on to sugar. We paid 52 cents per pound. We need 3¾ pounds. Please, I hope that by now we remembered that 3/4 is equal to decimal 75. And if you don't, well, remember, 3 divided by 4 is decimal 5 plus the 3 original whole pounds. So the cost of 1 pound, 52 cents, multiplied by the amount of pounds the recipe calls for, 3.75. Our extension price for the sugar is $1.95. Cream of tartar, well, this is super easy. We paid 29 cents for an ounce. The recipe calls for an ounce. 29 cents times 1. The extension price for cream of tartar is 29 cents. Off to the salt. We paid decimal 0.18 for 1 ounce of salt. We need a ½ ounce of salt. So you can do one of two things. You can multiply by decimal 5 or divide by 2. Whatever the case, the extension price for salt is decimal 0.009 cents for a ½ ounce. Vanilla, 46 cents an ounce. We need 2 ounces. 46 cents times 2. Our extension price is 92 cents for the vanilla. The almond flavoring, 39 cents an ounce. Again, either multiply by decimal 5 or divide by 2, but the extension price is decimal $195 for almond flavoring. And cake flour, we pay 29 cents a pound. We need a pound and a half. 24 cents a pound. We need a pound and a half, so 24 times 1.5. 24 represents the cost of a pound. We need a pound and a half. The extension price is 36 cents for the pound and a half. So we have all the extension prices to the menu items. Now all we have to do is get the total cost. What is the total of all these extension prices? And that's all we're doing. We're adding all of these prices to get the total cost of this recipe. So this total recipe is costing us 5.428 cents to make. So the cost per portion, very simple. We take the cost of the recipe and we divide it by the amount of portions. So in this case, $5.428 divided by 60, the amount of portions this recipe gives us, and that gives us a portion cost of 9 cents. So every piece of angel cake from this recipe is costing us 9 cents to make. That's the cost we're going to use to figure out the selling price. But let's go over this one more time. Here's another example. We're going to calculate the cost per portion. We're going to round things off to 3 decimal places. And please make sure to read these instructions carefully on the test, because it may not always be 3 decimal places. They're telling us the size of the portion is 8 ounces. We don't really care about the size. This is what we care about, the amount of portions. So when this recipe is done, we will get 100 portions of Hungarian goulash. So we start extending prices. We paid $2.49 a pound for bone chuck. We need 35 pounds. So the unit cost matches the unit price. Let's keep multiplying those two together. $2.49 times 35 pounds gives us an extended price of $87.15. We need 1 pint of oil. We paid 64 cents for a pint. That's getting to be pretty easy. Again, the extension, all we're doing is figuring out how much it's going to cost us for each item. So I'm just going to go through these very quickly. It really doesn't matter. Down here we get to 88 cents per can. We need 2 cans. 88 cents times 2 is $1.76. Oh, here's something interesting. We need 1 gallon of white stock, and they're telling us NC means no charge. So it's not that there's no cost involved. If we made our own wine stock, we had our own recipe and we costed out that recipe when we were making it. The bottom line is, for this recipe, we're just going to go to the wine stock big barrel where we have it. We're going to take 1 gallon and we're going to throw it into this recipe. So there may not be a cost for the wine stock in this recipe, but it was costed out when we created the wine stock. So there's all of our extension prices. We're going to total up all those extension prices and realize that this recipe is costing us $94.323. That's how much it's costing us to make 100 portions. What's the cost for 1 portion? Again, we're simply unit costing. We paid $94.323. We're going to divide that by the amount of units we got. So we're getting 100 portions for that cost, and round it off to 3 decimal places. The cost per portion is $943 per portion. Remember, it's the total cost of the recipe divided by the amount of portions we get in that recipe to get us the portion cost. Let's take a look at one last example. We're going to calculate the cost per portion. Again, we're looking at rounding our answers to 3 decimal places. This recipe is for brownies. This recipe is going to yield us 30 brownies. We need 400 grams of walnuts. We paid $9.43 per kilogram. $9.43 divided by 1,000 will give us the cost of 1 gram. Let's multiply it by the 400 grams we need. There's our extension price. Dark chocolate, we paid $8.70 per kilogram. Our recipe wants 680 grams. So what we paid divided by 1,000 will give us the cost of 1 gram. Let's multiply it by the 680 grams we need. Our extension price is $5.916. Butter, $2.69 a pound. Well, we only need 1 pound. That one was easy. Let's move to sugar. We paid $1.70 per kilogram. We need 750 grams. $1.70 divided by 1,000 will give us the cost of 1 gram. Let's multiply that by the 750 grams the recipe is calling for. There's our extension price for sugar. Eggs, we paid $1.49 for a dozen eggs. We only need 8. So we'll take $1.49 divided by 12, the amount in a dozen. We now have the cost of 1 egg. Well, let's multiply that by the 8 eggs we need, and there's our extension price, $993 for 8 eggs. Vanilla, we paid $5.69 for a liter. We only need 5 milliliters. So let's divide the per liter price by 1,000 to get us the cost of 1 milliliter, multiplied by the 5 milliliters we're looking for in our recipe, and there's the extension price for that. Baking powder, we paid $3.20 per kilogram. If we divide that price by 1,000, we now have the cost of 1 gram, and our recipe is calling for 2 grams, so multiply it by 2 to give us the extended price for the baking powder. And finally, our bread flour, we paid 65 cents per kilogram. We need 450 grams. So 65 cents divided by 1,000 gives us the cost of 1 gram. Let's multiply it by the 450 grams we need, and there's the extended price for the bread flour. Now that we have all of our extended prices, our extended costs, we need the total cost of the recipe. We're going to add all of these numbers and realize that this recipe is costing us $14.973. We're then going to take the total cost and divide it by the amount of portions that we need, which is 30. So our total cost of $14.973 divided by the amount of portions it makes, which is 30, rounded to 3 decimal places, gives us a portion cost of $499, or just shy of 50 cents. So there you go, 3 different examples on how to get portion costs. We need the extension price of each ingredient. We add up all of the extended prices for each ingredient in the recipe. That gives us the total recipe cost. We then take the total recipe cost and divide it by how many portions that recipe gives us. And that gives us the portion cost.